Ah, the internet, the trolls playground. Let's respond to some criticism, shall we? First, we'll go back and we'll read what the person wrote and what I replied with. It's sickening how much extra weight you pile on these drones. The protection will come from becoming a better pilot. Not piling a bunch of crap on the drone. Having more camera tilt would help. But adding all the extra BS is making you less durable in a way because you're becoming less agile and less able to correct mistakes. You need to spend time improving, whether it be in the sim or flying and taking more controlled risks, etc. I think you've stagnated and are coping. So I'll reply, you have a great day too. To which he replies, okay, got it. You can't take criticism. You should actually listen to what I'm telling you. Believe it or not, I'm trying to help. To which I reply, doesn't bother me in the least. Feel free to criticize all you want. So this fellow claims to want to help me. I use that in quotes because I don't really think his intention is to actually help me. I think his intention is to say, look at me, I'm so smart, you should listen to me. I'm the smart one in the room. You know, I have all the answers. You're a dummy. You should listen to me, right? You've got multiple types of comments that you can get when you're on when you post stuff online. You've got the positive comments, you know, hey, great job, whatever, you know. You've got the absolute negative comments where you suck, you're terrible, this is awful, blah, 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 you know, those kind of comments. And then you've got the comments from the trolls. These are the comments that try to come across as one thing, but actually are something different. They try to come across as someone being helpful, but really they're not being helpful. They're feeding their ego, or they are being very passive aggressive with the way that they say things, or they're trying to come across as that they're smarter than you and you're a dummy and you should listen to them because, you know, they're basically feeding their ego, right? So on the surface, you might think that this guy's comment was trying to be helpful, but just the way he starts it out basically sets the tone, you know. He starts out there, you know, it's sickening. Really? It's sickening that I have TPU on my drone? Really? It's sickening that my drone is heavier than you think it should be? I mean, honestly, I don't. I don't even really know where to begin, but I figured I would kind of go through this guy's criticism and kind of break it down and then just kind of respond here. So, you know, if he sees this, great. Respond all you want. I love you, buddy. Not. But, you know, whatever. I don't, honestly, I really don't care. I get a lot of criticism from a lot of different people in a lot of different ways, and that's fine. Heck, man, growing up, my name's Stacy. So, you know, you can imagine the bullying and the criticism and the making fun of that I have went through throughout my life. Couple that with I have bad vision, and then when I was in my teens, I had really, really, really bad acne. I mean, bad acne. It's a hereditary thing that I've had to deal with, and they gave me medicine which helped the acne and ruined my teeth, made them weak, and then, you know, they kind of broke off, and I've had those kind of issues to deal with. So, you know, I am no newcomer to being criticized and being made fun of and being bullied, and that's the grounds that all of this comes from. And I don't say any of that for sympathy. I don't need sympathy. You know, I was the only child, grew up the son of a preacher, so, you know, I'm well accustomed to being made fun of and being criticized and being critiqued, and nothing new. So this guy comes across and he's like, hey, you need to just fly better. Then you won't need all this protection. Really? That's the answer, right? Don't crash. Is that your answer? Don't crash and I won't need any protection? True. If I didn't crash, then, you know, I probably wouldn't need any protection at all on my drone. Tell me again, who flies and doesn't crash? You know, the only way that you fly and you don't crash, and even then you can still crash, is if you're flying in an open field somewhere with nothing around and you're just cruisy along, you know, and You always fly within your battery's limits and everything else, and you always fly within range and all those sorts of things, then maybe you wouldn't crash. Even then, you probably could crash. You could have a bee attack you and then freak you out, and you fling the sticks and your drone crashes. Then what? Stuff can break. Heck, you can fly in open fields and crash and not break anything, or you can fly in open fields and crash and snap the arms on the drone. And that has absolutely nothing to do with anything. It's just a matter of how you end up hitting stuff. And granted, adding TPU does not protect your drone from everything, and adding weight does in fact make your drone the possibility of things breaking higher. What things can break more likely when you have more weight? It's not the things that I'm trying to protect. The things that can break when you add weight are your arms. The arms on your drone, your carbon, because you got more weight impacting something, right? Or whatever sticking out, like your motors being on the end there, they might take a harder hit if you've got more momentum behind that. Granted, that's 100% true. You could definitely do that. But in the same way, not having any type of protection whatsoever also guarantees that if you hit something, it's going to take damage. And the likelihood of it being damaged is higher if it takes a direct hit. Hence the reason for the protection on the ends of the arms. Now, I've flown drones without any protection on the ends of the arms. And, you can do that and your drone can survive and you can fly on and blah, blah, blah and be all hunky-dory, and it can take quite a beating. What happens with the ends of your arms, though, is you take enough hits, particularly if you're flying around a lot of concrete. If you're flying over grass and stuff, not so much. But if you're flying over concrete, hitting hard objects, those ends are going to crack, delaminate, and eventually, they're going to bend up. I had several drones over the years that I didn't have any arm protection on, and the ends of the arms looked a lot like this. This was the tip of the arm, and the motor's sitting right here from the carbon getting bent up, and eventually it breaks, And, is that good, bad, or indifferent? I don't know. Would it have been better with TPU on it? Yeah, the arm definitely would not have taken the hits that it did. The TPU would definitely prevent that from happening quite a bit. Now, the weight that you add from the TPU, does it increase the likelihood that your drone could have a harder crash? I suppose so. It's physics. But what are the trade-offs? See, that's the thing. It's like, what are your trade-offs? What are you trying to accomplish with that? For me, I like a drone that's heavier because I like the way that it flies. Now, a heavier drone inherently can break easier. So what do? Do I leave all of the excess off of it and I've got a heavy drone with no protection? Or do I have a heavy drone that I add some protection to, adds a little more weight, so I have a slightly heavier drone? In the grand scheme of things, just not that much heavier with the extra TPU. It's already way overweight for the size of it from what some people would classify as being heavy or not heavy, and that's for another day, that's for another debate. So what do? Do I just leave all protections off and then I damage the ends of the arms? I definitely damage the motors when I crash. Or do I put some sort of protection on there and lessen the likelihood of those damages? I think I put the protections on there and I go play the odds that that's going to help more than hinder me. Now, the next thing he says that I should do, in addition to flying better, I should fly with a higher camera angle. Now, that's a new one to me. I don't know, when's the last time that flying with a higher camera angle made your drone more durable or made you a better pilot? I'm not sure. Maybe he can explain that one in the comments. By all means, buddy, explain that one in the comments. I'm not sure what you mean. Maybe I'm just completely misreading, but the way that I took it was you need to fly with a higher camera angle, and that's going to make your drone more durable, or it's going to make you fly better. I'm not sure which it is. Now, the only way that I could possibly even fathom that this might make my drone more durable is, okay, so I'm flying this way versus flying at a higher camera angle. If I'm flying at a higher camera angle and I have my motors under the arms, now the motors are more protected. Maybe that's what he means. I don't know. Seems kind of crazy to me. It also means that you're flying way faster, your battery is draining, and when you do hit something, you are definitely going to break something. Believe me, I know. I flew a drone for a while with a 60 plus angle camera angle. Did that for a while. And let me tell you, the crashes are spectacular and they do not recover from that. And I had no protections on there and it snapped arms. So, you know, would TPU on the end of it made a difference? Nope. Still would have snapped the arms, wouldn't have made the hill beams difference. It wouldn't have made it more susceptible to breaking. It would have made it less susceptible to breaking. It would have just broke the arms because I'm flying it like this. And, you know, Mach 100 or whatever. I don't know. Anyways, that's been quite a few years ago. So yeah, I don't know what that one is. And then he says, I need to take more controlled risks. Buddy, I'm not taking any risks. I'm flying through awnings here in a park. I mean, what's my more controlled risk? Enlighten me, old genius that you are. Enlighten me as to what a more controlled risk is. And then on top of that, what difference does it make how I'm flying? You think my flying sucks? You think I'm no good and I'm no good because I crash? Well, good for you. Wonderful. How about you enlighten me with some of your footage? I went to your channel. What does it have? It has footage from 5 years ago, 10 years ago, not drone footage, video game footage. And the video game of choice on your channel is League of Legends. Now, don't get me started on that one. I don't know anything about video games, but I do know enough from my son who does play video games and is rather good at video games. He's like, that game is toxic. The environment is toxic. It's just really, really, really bad. So it doesn't surprise me that you like that game based on your comment and the toxicity in the comment from you playing a game that you seem to like based on what I could tell from your channel, from content from 5 or 10 years ago. Maybe you don't like it now, I don't know. But anyways, you liked it then enough to post content on it and then you stopped. Maybe you completed everything and you have absolutely nothing left to show anybody, or maybe you got bored with it, or maybe you just suck at it and you know you gave up on trying. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Maybe you use your own advice, and just because you sucked at it, you're like, I'm stagnating. I'm going to cope with it by just quitting. Maybe that's what you did. I don't know. So that brings me to the last little point there. So he's like, you need to fly in a sim. You need to fly in a sim. Buddy, I've flown in the sim. Flying in a sim does not make you a better pilot. It will teach you or allow you to learn tricks or the basics of how things work and stuff. But flying in a sim is not the same as flying in real life. Doesn't matter, it's just not. You can learn a lot of things in a sim, don't get me wrong, you definitely can. It can be very, very, very helpful. But a sim is not real life. I can do trippy spins all day long in a sim. I can't do them in real life. I know the basics, I know the logistics of it, I know exactly what to do, but when I go to try to do it in real life, I just can't do it. And you know, I'm okay with that. That doesn't bother me. Would I like to be able to do them? Sure, why not? You know, just something else to be able to say that I can do, great, but I don't have to, and it doesn't bother me in the least that I can't do them. Can I do Matty flips? Nope. Do I care? Nope. Do I try them occasionally, every once in a while, just for fun? But it doesn't bother me that I can't do them, and that's okay. I don't fly to say, look at me, I can do all the tricks, you know. I don't have that mentality. I'm not a person like Phantom FPV who has to go out and has to be able to do everything. That dude, and he's amazing. He can do all these tricks and stuff, and that's great. And he loves doing it. That's what drives him. It doesn't drive me. That's not what I enjoy from the hobby. What I enjoy from the hobby is flying and being like a bird and being able to just kind of go through things and do all that kind of stuff, and not boring stuff. I like to take risks. I like to do nifty tricks and stuff, but I know that I can't do all the tricks, and I don't have the time or the energy to spend to learn doing all the tricks. I don't have the time or the energy to spend to becoming the elite pilot. I'm not going to do that. That's not in me. It's not what I want to do. I want to go out, I want to fly a few packs, I want to have fun, I want to laugh, and I want to hang out with people that I like and just have fun. And if sometimes that fun involves trying something crazy that's probably going to break something, you know, maybe I do that, maybe I don't do that. And it's all up to me, you know. With the way things are in the world right now and being able to get parts and all that kind of stuff, you know, I don't want to break stuff because I can't always get replacements. It's not always easy to do. Maybe you're in a position, buddy, where you can do that. You can get all the parts. Maybe you're not in the US. Maybe you have no problems getting parts. Maybe you have unlimited funds and that is great. More power to you. Awesome. Go out, have fun, do whatever it is that you got to do to have fun. For me, I don't, and I'm not going to do things that's going to put my drone in excessive harm's way. Now, am I going to put it in harm's way some? Certainly, because that's part of what I enjoy. But I'm not going to do things intentionally trying to break stuff. And I'm not going to go out and try to do stuff that's absolutely crazy that I absolutely need to worry about breaking stuff. If something breaks because something goes wrong, then by all means, that's fine. And I'll work through that and I'll figure it out, whatever, If it means I've got to not fly for months because I can't get parts, then that's just what it is. I started out in the hobby years ago when the only way you could get parts was, you ordered them from China and you waited 6 weeks to get stuff. And that's the way that it was, When I got started, that was end of 2014, beginning of 2015, and there just wasn't the supply that there is now. And it was definitely hard to come by, and going into it with no good information, I was ordering from some place in China, HeliPal, I think it was. And that was great, cost a fortune. The shipping was ridiculous. And, there's no help on that stuff. And the stuff was crap. It was terrible, But anyways. And then the last thing, I've stagnated and I'm coping. So I've stagnated with what? What have I stagnated with? With my skill level? Maybe. I don't know. Does that matter? Absolutely not. I am having fun flying, enjoying this hobby with my abilities, whatever that may be. Does that mean I do the same 3 tricks all the time? Probably, because that's what I can do and that's what I do. And if you don't like it, by all means, there's a bunch more channels that you can go watch with pilots who have far more skills than me, and they are amazing to watch and blows my mind watching them, and I'm astounded by them. And I watch them and I get inspired and I'm like, nope, I can't do it. Sorry, but I love watching it and it's great, Go do that, If that's you and you're one of those amazing pilots, by all means, go out there and do that. But obviously, I don't think that you're one of those amazing pilots or you would be sharing it on your channel. Maybe you have another channel and you use this channel for your troll comments. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. By all means, if you do and you've got amazing footage and you are just the most elite pilot, by all means, I am being sincerely honest here. Share that. I would love to see it. And if it is, it's great. I'll go watch your videos. I'm not going to troll you either. I will watch it. I'll give you a thumbs up if I like it. It doesn't bother me who it is. I have had a rare few exceptions to negative comments on my channel where the people were so toxic that I actually banned them, or they were so Lulu in the head that I actually, block them from my channel. Most of the time, I don't care. Haters, come on, comment all you want. It doesn't matter to me. But if you're like super toxic, then I'll probably block you. Or if you are Lulu in the head, I might block you. There was a dude that, he has it in his head that I am his enemy and I got all these people out against him. I didn't even know who he was. He was commenting out of the blue and he went off the rails, and made like a slew of videos, like just crazy stuff, man. This dude's, I blocked him. I'm sure he's still making crazy videos. He's a little off in the head, I think. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on with him. And then I've had some people that were like really, really, really toxic with the really negative comments, with some foul comments. And I'm like, I'm not putting up with that. I don't have to put up with that. And so, I block those people. But most of the time, people that don't like my stuff or say you suck or whatever, I don't care. It doesn't bother me. By all means, it's your opinion. You can do whatever you want, The way I've always heard is like, if you don't have anything good to say, just don't say anything. Move on. Does it matter? Do you need to spout your opinion off? Does it feed your ego that much? Do you really need your ego to be fed that much that you've got to try to make someone else feel worse to make yourself feel better? I don't know. Anyways, I have rambled almost 20 minutes now. So I think I will leave it at that. I don't typically respond to criticism. Honestly, I really don't care about the criticism. It doesn't bother me. I just thought it might be kind of fun to kind of spout through this rant a little bit. Gotta get this stuff off my chest sometimes. My son have had a pretty good laugh over this comment the last few days. Last day or so, I guess. And yeah, he was the one telling about League of Legends. So he's like, yeah, that game is toxic. I said, well, that explains a whole lot then. If that environment's toxic and he enjoyed that and he played that game, he's probably a rather toxic individual, or he's been affected by the toxicity there and has kind of made him that way. I don't know. But anyways, you guys have a great day. Don't let the haters get to you. Laugh it off, move on, have fun with it. And I will see you guys in the next video where you can once again watch me fly. Terrible, stagnated, I'm coping, I'm awful, my drone sucks, it's too heavy, it's too fat. Whee!